Hey y'all, it's time for some damn good content. I'm Shelby, your host and business bestie. I'm a content creator, social media manager and coach, keynote speaker, wife, and a mama of two who ditched her 9-to-5 to build a thriving multi-six-figure business solely using social media. Just like you, I'm a working mom and a wife with limited time. So I'm committed to cutting the fluff and delivering tips and fresh ideas straight to your earbuds on how you too can harness damn good content and create that type of business that you love and are proud of. Each week, we'll deep dive into strategy and mindset of building your brand on social media so that your confidence and success in the online space can skyrocket. Get ready to step outside of your comfort zone and start creating some damn good content. Are you ready? Let's freaking get it. All right, guys, another episode of Damn Good Content. And I'm excited, actually very, very nervous about this one because I've decided to rip the Band-Aid off and do a solo episode with you about the mastermind that I just got to experience. And I might cry, I might not, who knows? But this experience was so insane. It was such a magical out-of-body experience to the point of I'm grateful. I'm beyond grateful. I'm excited for what's to come. And if you don't know, this was such a big deal because the woman that has put on her first ever mastermind is the same woman I remember seeing on stage in California in 2020. And it lit a spark under my ass, truly. It did. And that is when I knew I wanted to really be an entrepreneur, really step outside of the corporate zone and really just go for it. Risk and all, like everything. Anyway, so last weekend, I don't know when you're listening to this. So the last weekend of April of 2023, Jasmine Starr put on her first in-person mastermind where 15 very, very knowledgeable businesswomen came together and we really collaborated. We had great talks where we got vulnerable. I'm emotional roller coaster, so I definitely cried a lot. We got good advice. We got bad advice. We got a good kick in the pants. And by bad advice, I just mean simply like you take everything that comes your way, whether you like what you hear or what you don't. So don't mind me. I'm just a little nervous because this is very, very vulnerable. Anyway, I'm going to walk you through it. So I am a Louisiana girl, small town girl. I've now been to California 3 times in 2 years, and that is insane in my brain. But I get there in a large city, literally pull up at LAX. The only thing I can think of is the Miley Cyrus song, like jump, hop, off a plane at LAX. Anyway, that's corny. But I'm excited. I'm meeting my girl, Jara Bean, for the first time. We're meeting at the airport. My family doesn't know anybody that I'm actually meeting up with. It is so exciting. We meet Casey and her husband for dinner. They show me the Santa Monica Pier. We get excited. We eat dinner. We talk about business. Everything is business. And it's finally something that I get to endure, that everybody understands what it's like to own an online business, what it's like to overcome mental challenges, physical challenges, emotions that you just can't even describe. I mean, hell, I'm about to start crying already. And as we're prepping, we knew we were coming into this mastermind and each of us have a hot seat. And what does that mean? That means you have one question, you get 20 minutes. I think it was 15 minutes. I blacked out, truly. Videoed it though, blacked out. And you get to pick one specific question and you have 15 women plus Jasmine plus her husband, JD, that is giving great feedback. Well, JD didn't really, but he was there and he was moral support. Actually, he gave me some tissues because your girl cried. But anyway, you get one freaking question to ask. And guess who went first? Yours truly. I did. Of course I did. I went first because I was like, why not? I knew I wanted to go on the first day, but by the time I actually signed up, all of the links and spots were taken. So I was on the phone with Jara and she was like, well, why not just take that first spot? And I was like, crap. But guess what? I did it. Anyway, get up there. Everybody's staring at you. You ask your question. And my question was, if you don't know, we're really going to start honing in on a personal brand and building that personal brand and what it takes to build a personal brand and what I should be doing for my personal brand and what are my content pillars for my personal brand and so much stuff. I know that was like 50 questions at one time as you're listening to this podcast, but I promise you, I only asked one. I only asked to help me come up with my content pillars for my personal brand. And I remember standing there and getting all this feedback. And oh, sweet, sweet, sweet Francine, as I was giving, who I am, what is SCM, what is Shelby Claim All, I remember her looking at me and saying in these words, so Francine, if you're listening, I probably screwed this up, but she says, do you feel not deserving of where you are today in your business? And I have a video of the moment she asked me that question, and I feel it right now as I'm telling the story. And I looked at her and I said, yes. And I said, I feel like this is too good to be true. I feel like I don't belong in this room. And I feel that I'm such a small town girl chasing a really big dream, but I want to be an advocate for other girls and women as me that want to leave corporate, that want to start a side hustle, that are stay-at-home moms that want to start a side hustle, or that are women that just want to start their own damn business. And I remember just being told at that point, like just like right now, you can't really see me. Well, this is going on YouTube, so I guess you can't. I remember at that point, I'm literally taking my jacket off, I'm sweating, and I hear Jasmine say, just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. And so I'm here to tell you all that we all have these thoughts. We all question our mindset, and we all question whether we should be here. But there's one thing that group of women did for me in that moment that I'm hoping to do for someone else that's listening to this podcast, and know that I am here for you. Because in that moment where I felt like I was crumbling, and in that moment where I felt like I should just run out of that room, get back on that plane that I sang a Miley Cyrus song to, and head home because I didn't belong, in that moment, those women gathered around me. And I heard Angie say, Shelby, we got you. In the sense of, surround yourself with like-minded humans that believe in what you are doing, that want to see you succeed, that want to see you happy, and that know that you have every ounce in your being to be as successful as you want to be, as successful as you put your mind to, as successful as anyone else in the room. And when I thought that, I still was like, why the hell did I have a pity party for myself? And instead, mindset is the biggest game changer in your life. It will either make you in the entrepreneur world, or it will break you in the entrepreneur world. You see, what I do for a living is I work on social media, obviously. And a lot of times we fall in the trap of comparison game. And we are like, well, why does this person have 100,000 followers? I'm saying the exact same thing she's doing. I'm doing the exact same thing she's doing. I'm making more money than she is. And we fall into that metric of that vanity of that follower count. And that is where in our mind, we think we are failing. And in our mind, we think we don't belong in that room full of amazing 15 different entrepreneurial women that are just there to get the support that I'm there for. And that I am supposed to be there. And that I am supposed to swallow my pride and get over the pity party that I'm having for myself in my head, and understand that out of 2,000 people that applied, I am one of the 15 out of the entire world that got chosen to be in Jasmine Starr's first ever mastermind. And sometimes I'm like, wow, you're being very selfish, and you're being very self-centered, and you're being very silly by focusing that negative energy that you are having, that you don't belong, that you aren't supposed to be here. And in all reality, that's a dig. That's a dig at Jasmine for not thinking that I do belong. That's a dig at these other women that are looking up to me. The amount of people that looked at me and told me that I bring light and I bring joy and I bring inspiration to them truly took me back, truly made me cry. It was so much magic in one weekend that it went by in the blink of an eye. And these women that I got to sit in a room for hours with will be forever friends of mine. We will be forever pushing one another, because what I learned from this weekend is that we all struggle. We are all fighting our own demons. We are all battling, whether that is growing our business, whether that is building our personal brand, whether that is figuring out pricing structure for what the heck we're going to provide to the world next, because we know that we are unstoppable. We know that God made us for more. We know that we are doing exactly what we were supposed to be doing. And I'm going to be interviewing a lot of these women over the next few months about this mastermind because we're together for 6 whole months. And y'all, this is only month 2. And we all feel like we know each other on a whole different level. And I'm going to be interviewing and we're going to get everybody's take on where they're at, what they're struggling with, where they going, what does it look like? And there's a lot of people that do exactly what I do. And you know what, honey? I don't mind interviewing them and having them on this podcast and cheering so loud for them because we all deserve to win. And so, as you listen to this podcast episode, whether this made sense or I was all over the place, and the fact that this is probably like one of the first episodes that you get to hear from me and I cried, it's fine. But I practice vulnerability. So, there's that. If you are listening to this podcast, this is me talking to you, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter if you want to stay in corporate and you want to move up that ladder, no matter if you are a stay-at-home mama and you just want some little bit of a side hustle, or you are that person that's itching to be an entrepreneur that wants to push outside of your comfort zone and really freaking go for it. I am here for you. I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. You are the person that's going to make or break your success. You are the person that's actually going to get to do it. And you are the person that matters the most, because you are who is going to make the most out of the experiences that you get. I remember at this mastermind, Jasmine brought in James Wedmore, which is her mentor, which is the first mastermind she ever went to. So I was like, at first, no offense if he is even listening to this, but I didn't know who he was. Well, my dear friend within the mastermind was like, oh my gosh. Angie was like, Shelby, this is James Wedmore. We are just so excited. So I, did my deep dive into who he was, looked him up on Instagram, and lo and behold, he came into this mastermind group and he talked about mindset. And he talked about the mindset of an entrepreneur and how the mindset of an entrepreneur is different than the mindset of anyone else. And if you can't think bigger than your biggest and wildest dreams, then what are you doing? And this was like the greatest talk that kind of paired with where my mind was at this point. And I remember going outside and I was like, I want to ask him for a picture. I want, I want to document this moment and everything. And I just was talking to him, and his fiance was there too. Her name is Jen, and she actually ran us through a meditation. And y'all, I've never meditated before in my entire life. If you know me, I do work out, but I do that hardcore crap where it feels like I'm about to die. But she made us do this meditation. And I looked at both of them and I was like, thank you so much for your talk today. I've definitely been struggling with mindset and imposter syndrome and if I belong here. And you know what? He looked me dead in the face and he said, if you can't get over that mindset, then this mastermind will be an entirely waste of time and money. And you would think that he would have told me something that was like crazy, but in reality, we know this. We know that imposter syndrome is the one that dictates everything. We know that our mindset is dictating where we go next and where we've been and what we do and literally our every move. You are the one that gets to control that mindset. You are the one that gets to dictate what you do next. Now, I just mentioned how I never had done a meditation in my life ever before. And so it was really first for me. And Jen was talking and she's like, if you're going to levitate, like put your feet on the ground. And I was like, oh my God, am I going to like pass out? What is going to happen? And we did this exercise where imagine a white piece of paper and you're drawing a circle. And she's like, I need you to write something on this paper that you want to visualize during this meditation, whether it's your dream house, whether it's a number that you want to hit within your business, no matter what the case is. And I wrote in my journal, which let me see if I can find it, but I'll keep talking. I wrote in my journal. Oh, I have it. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then you'll see this, but I wrote right here, a circle, which is what she told us to write first, and then what you're envisioning and what do you want to envision within this meditation. And for those of you that aren't watching this and you're listening to it in the car, I drew a stick figure. And I'll probably cry again as I explain this, but I wrote a stick figure, and that was in honor of me and who I am and who I was walking into the mastermind. And I also wanted to meditate to a more positive, more loving, more self-deserving me. So when it was time to close your eyes, I closed my eyes and I said to myself, you are going to love yourself. You are going to believe that you belong here. You are going to believe that you are deserving of what is happening and how it is happening. And for that, I don't even know. It was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I really don't know, because I checked out and I drilled that into my brain. And that really showcased that you have the opportunity to dictate what you do. Now, the mastermind continued, and we literally learned so much goodness. Like at one point, some people forfeited their hot seat questions so we could just learn straight from Jasmine. And gosh, that was amazing, because some of the questions were some that a lot of us had questions about. So instead of them getting up there, she just taught us. And when I tell y'all, this experience was far more than I ever could have imagined, and far more that when I think back to 2021 in corporate, and I was going to conferences, and I was doing so many things for someone else's dream, to now be in California in a room with 15 women with a mentor that I've looked up to for so freaking long. Dreams come true. Dreams come true. You have to believe in yourself. You have to push outside your comfort zone. You have to freaking be willing to put in the work. Because when I tell you a mastermind is special, the bonds I've made in 2 months, I can't imagine what they will be in 4 more months. But the bonds that I've made are strong, and I have so much support, and we cheer for each other. We bounce ideas off of each other, and it was just a dream, and it was magical. So I won't keep you much longer. All I will tell you is this. If your dream is big and you have the mindset to match it with the work ethic of an entrepreneur that can get stuff done, nothing will stand in your way. And I'm here to cheer you on. And I'm here to help you through any obstacles that you have, because I am too, just like you, and struggle with imposter syndrome, mental state, and wondering if I belong. But we have the choice to choose. So, what are you going to choose? Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. And if you liked it, please comment, please share, please rate us, and come on back next week for a great episode that we will have in store for you. All is well. Love you all so much. Until next time, let's freaking get it. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in to Damn Good Content by Shelby Claymont. If you really enjoyed this podcast, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share it with anyone that you know may want to hear this. And tune in next week, because we will have a brand new episode waiting for you. Have a great day.